What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, initially, I was going to let it rest. I wasn't going to make this video, but in the words of Tupac Shakur, my big mouth. I can't help it. I got a big mouth. I'm real. I speak from the heart. So, yeah, my mouth's too big. I got to say this. I got to speak on it. So, dislike the video if that's what you want. I don't care. But anyway, this is about promoters, Oscar De La Hoya, namely. He was had a lot to say on All Access. He said he laid the blueprint on how to beat Mayweather back when they fought in 2007. It was a close fight, but I thought as the fight wore on, Mayweather started pulling away with the lead. Um, there was a lot that De La Hoya was doing, and him being the golden boy and the previous cash cow, it looked good to the audience. But if you watch it back in slow motion, it wasn't effective. Most like he would have Floyd against the ropes. He would throw a succession of punches, let's say 5 punches, and one may graze Floyd Mayweather, but the others were not landing flush. They were like brushing up against his arm. That's how incredible Floyd's defense is. Same thing with Cotto. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Floyd has a bloody nose." No shit, he's fucking human. Just because you haven't seen him with the bloody nose before doesn't mean that Cotto's destroying him. I think a lot of people in the heat of the moment, because I was on Twitter. Actually, quick story, I was filming and I was flying out of town, so I didn't even get to see the Mayweather Cotto live, and I was pissed. So my brother was texting me. I was on the social networks, and I was really angry and upset because I love to watch the fights live, especially a big fight like Cotto versus Mayweather. Huge diehard boxing fan, but duty called, and I think I was going to Boston at the time to work from California. So I was at the Sacramento airport, and I was just looking at updates on my phone, reading Twitter, and people were like, "Oh, Mayweather's getting destroyed." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, is that Cotto's really bringing it like that?" And then they said Mayweather won, and it was such a close fight. And I had recorded it when they re-aired it, sat down and watched it, remembering all the comments that I heard. And then I'm like, this is the fight everyone was talking about. But I understand during the moment, there's a lot of adrenaline, and you're seeing someone who is having some success. Has a huge fan base. A lot of people like Cotto. I like Cotto. And it may be slightly different. But when I watched it again, I was like, Cotto definitely didn't win that. Some people even got on YouTube with boxing channels, and they're like, "This is bullshit. The scorecards were it was a robbery and all kinds of stuff," and saying Cotto should have won. Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? What fight did you watch? Again, Cotto had a good showing. He gave Mayweather problems. He fought at a higher weight. Mayweather's a smaller guy, so it is what it is. But by no means did Cotto win that fight. And again, Cotto and De La Hoya both, they had Floyd up against the ropes, and it might look good, but if you really watch those blows and those flurries, a lot of it was missing. So it's how, I mean, Cotto would get some punches in, De La Hoya would get some punches in, but if you're throwing six just to land half a punch or one punch, how successful is your attack? So as far as Oscar De La Hoya, his 2007 fight, I don't think is the blueprint, namely because each fighter's different. Not everyone is going to fight like him. Not everyone has his build. And you're also talking about a fighter who's had several fights since. Mayweather's had fights, so who's to say Mayweather that fought Castillo, another fight that people say Mayweather lost or whatever the situation is. The fact of the matter is Mayweather moved up in weight, fought Castillo, who had a great showing. A lot of people didn't expect it, and Castillo gave him a tough fight. And Mayweather had a hurt shoulder. But it was a good, close, competitive fight. You could have scored it either way, depending on what you like or what you look for. And then one thing that people seldom that bring up the Castillo fight, they never mention he got an immediate rematch. Mayweather said he had a shoulder injury in the first fight. He rematched him later that year. He didn't do like Pacquiao and Marquez and give Marquez rematches every 3 or 4 years or wait a year. He rematched him the same exact year, and like maybe 6 to 8 months after, because the first fight took place in the spring, I believe, in the beginning of the year, and then he fought him again in like November, December of that year in 2002, and he beat him convincingly. So people don't bring that. They just talk about the tough fight, and I mean that's to be expected. But as far as De La Hoya having the blueprint, Cotto having the blueprint, Castillo having the blueprint, I don't. They don't. I mean, they had success. Zab Judah has the blueprint too, then, because Zab Judah gave Mayweather problems. So, I mean, realistically, you could take any tough fight and say that that's the blueprint. But the funny thing is, Zab Judah, Castillo, Shane Mosley, De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, if you want to throw him in there, the people who gave him somewhat of problems or tough fights, they don't even fight the same. Zab Judah is a southpaw. Oscar De La Hoya is really tall and rangy with a lot of experience, and experience on that big platform, that big stage. Um, Cotto is a seasoned veteran also, and he was with the new trainer, and he had got vindication from the Margarito loss, his first career loss. So he was he was ready. I mean, his confidence was high. So realistically, I don't buy this. Everyone has the blueprint. Can Canelo beat Mayweather? Yes, sure he can. I think personally, if Canelo were to beat Mayweather, that he would beat him more based on size, and he does have skills. So don't get me wrong, he does have a skill set, but him being bigger, that's pretty much Canelo's biggest chance to me. I don't think skill for skill he has more skills in his arsenal. I think if he imposes his size and uses that size plus his skills that he does have, that would give him an opportunity to win. But I don't think skill for skill he's as talented as Mayweather. I think he would have to bully Mayweather, use the jab, throw a high volume of punches, and work the body, work the body definitely to beat Mayweather. So it's possible Canelo can do it, but as far as saying everyone has the blueprint, it just doesn't make sense. De La Hoya, how do you have the blueprint and you lost? How do you have the blueprint and Mayweather's fought several of your fighters, Robert Guerrero, Victor Ortiz, since your fight with him in 2007? Why didn't you give them the blueprint? Now Canelo's the savior because he has a huge fan base, so you're opening up the vault and giving him the blueprint that you never gave your other fighters. So what does that say? What do you think of your other fighters if you didn't give Victor Ortiz the blueprint, and you damn sure didn't give Robert Guerrero the blueprint either, because Robert Guerrero had a pretty bad showing after the first 3 rounds against Mayweather. Anyway, this is what Oscar De La Hoya had to say. I'm sure you've already read it. You don't know shit about fighting. Laugh out loud. Save the dancing and prancing for the horses. This is a fight game. That's also getting old. These promoters are trying to turn the sport of boxing into WWE or MMA, and it's not that. Boxing is a chess. It's a game of chess, and there's different styles. You have to be equipped to deal with that. If you guys have ever seen the movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bloodsport, then this is very similar. In the Kumite, they had all different styles. Some people did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Van Damme did his style. There are people from like Tokyo and all different heights, weights, sizes, and styles of fight, and they would all fight in this death match called the Kumite. So that's a classic movie if you haven't seen Bloodsport. You guys, if you've seen the movie, you know why I just did that. Anyway, that's what boxing is like. It's several styles. You have to be able to adapt and adjust to those different styles. Sometimes you need a plan B. Even great fighters like Mayweather needed a plan B at times. What he was doing against Zab Judah early wasn't working because Zab Judah was beating him to the punch and looking really sharp. So he had to adjust, and that's just what it is. So I don't agree with De La Hoya on that. I got the blueprint shit because why is it taking so long for someone to beat Mayweather if he had the blueprint all along, or all someone had to do is watch his fight from 2007 and beat Mayweather out of all the fights he's had since then. So I don't really buy that. I think that's horse shit. Let me know what you guys think. Oscar De La Hoya's comments. Does he have the blueprint? Will Canelo unlock the blueprint? Leave a comment. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next videos, Ego signing off.